A while ago, I did a top 10 on the strongest moves in Pokemon, but a lot of power doesn't necessarily mean it's the best move out there. And I realized that I never talked about the objectively best moves to use in battle. So today, we'll be breaking down what I feel are the top 10 best moves to use in competitive Pokemon. We'll be analyzing what moves are the best to use overall across each format, and will consist of the top performers from formats such as Smogon, VGC, Battle Spot, and anything else. As always, make sure to comment below what moves you think are the best, and leave a like on the video to show your support. With that said, I hope you guys enjoy my list, so let's kick off number 10. Coming in at number 10, we have Tailwind. In Pokemon, having the speed advantage is one of the most important factors to winning or losing a battle, and this especially comes into play when taking account 2v2 scenarios. When playing doubles, having the support option of Tailwind can make or break certain matchups, since in this generation, speed control such as Tailwind when activated will instantly change turn order. This means if you have a Whimsicott and a Mamoswine against a Charizard and a Garchomp, the turn Whimsicott uses Tailwind, you will now outpace both since your speed will double. Even if the Garchomp in this scenario held the Choice Scarf, there wouldn't be any way for it to outpace, making Mamoswine immediately hit before either of these Pokemon. Having that ability to now go for the attack of your choice, whether Rockslide or maybe Icicle Crash, depending on what target you were aiming for, can make or break a match when each player only has 4 Pokemon with 2 out at any given moment. While Tailwind is still usable in singles in certain matchups though, it ultimately will shine best in doubles due to mechanics like this, since you won't have a second Pokemon on your side of the field to take advantage of Tailwind. This means you'll only have a few turns to get in whatever you want to take advantage of this speed boost to actually pressure a team. Despite this, Tailwind is such an impactful move, it earned a spot at number 10 on this list. At number 9 on the list, we actually have another form of speed control coming in from Trickroom. Like Tailwind, this move affects the order in which moves hit, only in this case, it gives benefit to the Pokemon that is the slowest. Trickroom, however, has a few benefits to Tailwind though as a whole. For one, Trickroom lasts 5 turns while Tailwind lasts only 4, making it already have a turn advantage, which can mean the difference, especially in the early stages of a battle. Not only this, but Trickroom affecting every Pokemon on the field instead of just your Pokemon helps making sure that you can punish your opponent for maybe using a move such as Tailwind, which while had the benefit of immediately affecting speed, didn't end up helping them in the long run. Slow and steady wins the race here when accounting for speed control, and Trickroom is no exception. So many slower Pokemon waiting for this one turn to have Trickroom activate can absolutely shatter teams, since most of them have ridiculously strong offensive stats and abilities, making teams with resistances even sometimes crumble. Trickroom finally also having a slightly easier time in singles format due to a lot of viable setters having immense bulk helps greatly when taking into account its placement at number 9 on this list. At number 8 on this list, we have a meta-defining singles move on this list with Spikes. While moves such as Stealth Rocks, Toxic Spikes, and Sticky Webs are all powerful hazard options as well, Spikes holds a special place on this list for a few reasons. For starters, with heavy-duty boots around this generation, most Pokemon are leaning to run this team to avoid hazards entirely. This item tends to be a particular favorite among Pokemon with the Stealth Rocks, so they can avoid taking 25% or even 50% on entry. With this in mind, considering the fact that Pokemon without a weakness, while still benefiting from boots, due to avoiding damage from spikes or even a speed drop from sticky webs, are less likely to run this item. It makes spikes the standout hazard of this generation. Spikes also being able to stack helps their case as well, since with 3 spikes, any Pokemon that is grounded and lacks boots will take roughly 25%. This means that while they take a bit more time to set enough to their peak value, they, in the end, do provide more damage over time, which can definitely add up against certain playstyles or matchups that rely more on momentum. While Stealth Rocks just barely missed out on the list, Spikes provides a bit more currently in the metagame to edge their way onto the list at number 8. Our number 7 slot goes to a move that went from being terrible to one of the most dominant moves to date, Teleport. Teleport is a move that in Let's Go got the benefit of allowing you to switch into another Pokemon with -6 priority. This means you can use Teleport after sponging a hit from an opposing Pokemon or scouting your opponent's switch into something else, and then bring in something to pick the enemy off afterwards. This is very useful when taking into account Pokemon like Clefable that may at times allow breakers in who resist Fairy to revenge it pretty freely, who can now teleport and allow for easy scouting of whatever your opponent wants to bring in to defeat you. While Teleport is used mostly on fatter Pokemon such as Clefable, Slowbro, and Blissey, you can actually use this on more offensive options too, such as Gardevoir, to gain initiative when your opponent tries to switch into a resist. This can allow for teams who maybe lost momentum at one point during a battle to try to gain back a bit of initiative, in quickly turning the tides of a bad situation by bringing in some sort of counter to your opponent's team that may be less likely to come in otherwise without sacking one of your Pokemon. This greatly benefits Pokemon such as Dragapult or Urshifu who thrive off the slower momentum, bringing them in more freely so they don't need to take unnecessary damage before defeating what your opponent has. Teleport overall has redefined the singles metagame, adding it to the number 7 spot on this list. Number 6 on our list is a doubles move that is so vile, even single players who know how this move works know how powerful it is. That move is none other than Ally Switch, a +2 priority move that switches you and the Pokemon next to you in a double battle. This basically means if you have a Gothitelle and a Landorus T, you can use this move in order to trick your opponent by targeting Gothitelle instead of Landorus T that turn. This is especially powerful when taking into account how important hitting the right Pokemon is, or the fact you need to worry about if your opponent will use Ally Switch at all on a given turn. With Ally Switch, you can gain so much information, such as what your opponent was trying to target or gain control of, if your opponent even thinks you'll use it in a given turn or not, by potentially just avoiding using it after you reveal you have it. These sorts of headaches are the cause of extreme displeasure among the VGC community due to how limiting the move is. The most is only at number 6. However, due to the fact that unlike our top 5 options, you're only able to actually use this move in doubles due to it having no effect in any singles format. Starting off the top half of our list, we have Protect coming in at number 5. Protect is just how it sounds. It protects your Pokemon for one turn. There are options to stop this, however, such as Dynamax and moves like Feint, or even abilities such as Urshifu's Unseen Fist. However, this move still is a very important move in every metagame imaginable for many reasons. Protect can help fat teams guarantee recovery, whether through items such as leftovers, or even making sure you can guarantee a wish onto your Pokemon to heal them up. Not only this, but you can also actually use Protect in tandem with the moves such as Toxic, to slowly kill off your opponents. If that isn't enough to convince you, Protect is also a huge information option for your team as well. By using Protect, you can learn what sorts of moves your opponent has to damage you, or maybe even use the move if you're lower on time to get a few extra seconds to think of your next attack for a very little drawback in most cases. Overall, Protect's usability in every format it graces makes it a very strong contender in our top 5. Number 4 on this list goes to one of the most annoying moves in the game, Skald. Skald is supposed to have a 30% chance to burn, but if you're on the receiving end, it feels like it's a 100% chance at times. Skald being able to do base 80 damage while being a water attack is great, because it not only provides a way for water types to potentially take damage easier by burning their opponents, but it also creates a way to do smaller damage over time, even on turns you use a more passive option, such as Recover or a setup move. Skald even has the ability to overcome freeze by guaranteeing you thaw out, which can help water types that run this move avoid having to lose a battle due to unforeseen hacks that come from switching against moves such as Ice Beam. Skald's benefits are very easy to see, and especially when taking into the fact it's a no drawback option to use this move due to the damage and effects it can provide. It should be no surprise to see it land its way onto our number 4 slot. Starting off our top 3, we have a move considered widely by many to be one of the strongest single moves in existence, being Knockoff. Knockoff is a move that does 65 damage to itemless opponents, but does 97.5 damage to any opponent who holds an item while also removing their item. Knockoff is basically one of the easiest ways to not only help take away your opponent's damage output, but also even ability to gain HP back, especially against Pokemon that may lack recovery outside of berries or leftovers. Knockoff is one of those moves, even if you don't know if your opponent has it, you always need to respect, due to how easily it can ruin a game for a person, but it's losing your items. If you still somehow aren't convinced, think of it this way. If you didn't have your item on a Pokemon when you're running something such as a Choice Band Rillaboom or a Leftovers on your Tapu Fini, imagine how much less useful that Pokemon would be. The thought of situations like these should make it clear just how useful Knockoff is to the general competitive scene, making it our number 3 option on this list. Just barely missing out on our top spot today, we have Rockslide coming in at number 2. With Rockslide, you're able to do 75 base damage against a single target that goes down to roughly 56 base damage against multiple enemies. Rockslide, off damage alone, doesn't seem too impressive. So, just what makes Rockslide such a good move? Well, for one, Rock offensively is able to hit a wide array of options for super effective damage, such as flying, fire, ice, and bug types, especially when considering that damage, along with the ability to make up for your loss of damage through something such as a boosting item or a setup move. Rockslide losing this small amount of damage isn't really too big of a concern. In tandem with this, Rockslide also has a 30% chance to flinch your opponents, which can become problematic. 30% already can feel like a lot of damage, as we've previously established with Skald. But taking into effect, this chance is applied to each Pokemon, this only becomes even more threatening. When taking doubles into account, if both your Pokemon attack first and use Rockslide, you have a decent chance to flinch, and a roughly 71.6% chance to flinch at least one of them. A roughly 72% chance to flinch your opponents sounds pretty worth it considering how important every turn is in doubles format, which in tandem with how easy it is to just use Rockslide anyway, makes this our second place candidate on this list. Coming in at our top spot on this list is a move that probably any Pokemon player could predict, being Earthquake. Earthquake is that one move we all remember trying to get on our Pokemon at one point or another, even if you've never played competitive. It's just that good. Earthquake being a 100% accurate ground attack that can hit everything on the field as well is very useful. On top of this, Earthquake has a 75 damage output in doubles and a base 100 in singles, making it a very powerful option against your opponent's team. While Earthquake has Pokemon such as flying types and levitate options that are immune to it, it's still a move that has no drawbacks to use otherwise due to its perfect accuracy in ways to hit both opponents. You can even actually make that last point an advantage in your favor, since you can pair an Earthquake user with a flying type or a levitate user to avoid the damage yourself. Not only this, but if you want to hit those sort of Pokemon, you can pair your Earthquake user with a Gravity Pokemon, which will limit your opponent's ability to avoid Earthquake through their immunity for 5 turns. While Earthquake has some things about it that aren't perfect, you can actually, with very little support, make this into an extremely lethal attack that has absolutely no counterplay, to making it the strongest move on this list today. So, there you have it, guys. My rankings for the top 10 best moves in competitive Pokemon. What did you guys think of my list? Let me know your guys' rankings in the comments below, as I'd love to discuss your thoughts on this. So with that said, thank you to everyone for watching the video. Huge thanks to my phenomenal team and the amazing art done each week by Danny the Demon. I couldn't do all this without them. If you all enjoyed the video and want to see more content like this, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Be sure to leave a comment too, as it really helps us out. I also do other content on my Twitch, where I stream Genshin Impact, Mystic Zora, where I do Pokemon Let's Plays and other gaming content, and of course MysticSage, where I do all anime content. Right now, I'm focusing on Inuyasha and Yashahime, so if you're interested in that, be sure to check it out. If you'd like to support me even further than that, check out my Patreon. Whether it's a $1 tip to get early thumbnail access, or the $10 tier to get cool perler bead charms and a shout out. There's tons of reasons to join today. These lovely people did, and I thank them all so much for their support. It really means the world to me. I think I'm gonna wrap this up though. I'm Mr. Gumbrion, and I will see you all next time with some more amazing Pokemon content.